Welcome back. All right, I want to address at the start. Somebody asked if I got new lighting yesterday. No. What happens is, as the seasons change, the sun is now at a perfect angle where it comes in through the window and it makes it look like I'm lit differently. It's the sun. So, at any rate, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Friday, September the 22nd. All right, I just try to make sure I don't say October. This is that time of year where I'm like, we get into previews and hockey, and it feels like it's October, and it's not yet. So, we'll start off with Philadelphia. Tort's getting the rope out. So, Tortorella with a little rope skate that he does. Apparently, he's done since he was in Tampa. Cam York saying he'd better keep an eye on that rope because it's going to disappear if he gets his hands on it. He really pushed the team in practice already. Did this last year. Apparently last year he did 6 sets of 3 laps. This time it was 8 sets of 3 laps. It was 17 minutes of laps that keep getting continually longer. And then 10 minutes of, I believe it was back and forth between the goal lines. So it's a lot of skating. What gets me is you always see like players get blown up. And so they're just laying on their back on the ice looking like, they're just done. And people on social media are like, look at this guy. Yeah, no, I totally get it. There's, for most people, that would be it. I would say 1 set of 3 and I need to go sit down for a moment. I need a moment. So all the best to the players and the Flyers and those that survive Tortorella's training methods for the season. But again, last year apparently was 6 sets of 3 laps, and this year it's 8 because Tortorella, he loves the guys that much. He wants them in shape for the season. But yeah, so good on Torts for having the exact same rope since he was a coach in Tampa Bay in 2004. Michael Andlauer was introduced officially as the Ottawa Senators owner, and he's saying all the right things. He's absolutely saying all the right things. Brings out his group that's going to help him with running the franchise. Says there's no reason Ottawa can't be as big of a franchise in terms of its impact as Toronto and Montreal. I do wonder if that's going to be the case, but I admire his moxie. So he's also planning on developing a downtown arena. He says, the MCC and the downtown, the mayor, everybody wants the arena to be downtown. So that's his plan, and he's going to get to work on that. And he introduced his whole leadership team, as I said. And Gary Bettman was there as well to talk about how Andlauer loves the area and the franchise, and said he was thrown off by the applause. He's not used to applause. I have often said that Bettman, with the whole booing thing that fans do, he loves it. He has no problem with it. I'm trying to remember, there was one time where he wasn't booed, and he kind of looks at people funny, like, you're not booing. And then they started, he's like, yeah, that's more like it. So the whole boo Bettman thing doesn't have any effect on him. So people are like, I booed him. I probably made him feel really bad. Bettman's like, yep, they booed me again. Doing my job. All right, that being said, all the best to the Ottawa Senators, and it sounds like Andlauer is going to be a good owner, but it's day one, right? So we all have those warm and fuzzy feelings on day one with a new owner. There's going to be some trepidation for some fans, but Andlauer has a lot of experience when it comes to hockey, and so and also stating that there's 6 CHL owners who have some stake in the Senators as well. So honestly, it sounds like it's a good deal, and we finally have a new owner in Ottawa. So I've seen this report now from 2 different New Jersey Devils beat reporters that Alexander Holtz is skating better and faster. So there's been some discussion about his speed. Apparently he's worked on that, and he looks much better in practice. So whatever Holtz has done over the summer has worked. Now, that question comes in, right? Like, it's easy to look pretty good in practice against your own teammates. When we get into preseason games, we'll see whether or not he looks as good. But at this point, yeah, Holtz looks good. And if Holtz can follow through on the potential he has, that could be another goal scorer for the New Jersey Devils and more depth. The Devils already looking like one of the deepest teams in terms of scoring in the National Hockey League, and we'll see if Holtz makes the team. The Rangers getting in the Wayback Machine and signing Adam Clendening to a PTO. I thought the professional tryouts were done. I figured, well, we're into camp, so there's not going to be any more tryouts. Clendening gets a tryout. Clendening, of course, does have NHL experience. Can be counted on as a depth defenseman. We'll see whether or not he ends up playing in the AHL or playing in the NHL, and if he has an NHL contract with that, he may end up just with an AHL contract. But all the best to Clendenning. Again, you need depth in your organization. Rangers know what they're getting with Clendenning. Valeri Nichushkin. So, of course, the whole Nichushkin thing and the bizarre story of his hotel room, and then he's gone during the playoffs. And the funny thing is, I've seen people saying, well, we'll have to hear from Nichushkin. He's not going to tell us anything. He's not going to tell us anything. He's not. And he's not under any obligation to tell anybody anything either. The people he's obliged to tell, his general manager, his coach, and maybe his teammates. And then we'll see if any of that leaks out. But in all honesty, of course he's not going to talk about the incident that caused him to miss the rest of the playoffs. I'm not going to get into it again here because it does feel, A, it's salacious, and B, there's no new details to add to this. So yeah, Nichushkin playing it close to the vest, and he's not talking about it. And that's the end of it. And that's what he said, and that's it. So for anybody who wanted more clarity, it's still as clear as mud. So troubling news for the San Jose Sharks, a team that I already did a video a couple days ago stating that I believe they're probably going to be at the bottom of the league. There is no timetable for Couture's return to the ice. He sees it as a week-to-week situation, and it's a lower body injury. They're not giving us more than this, and it was suffered during the summer, and it sounds like he was trying to ramp up for training camp potentially, although he's not saying exactly what happened or how. But without Couture in the lineup, that really severely hampers the San Jose Sharks. So we don't know yet whether or not Couture's going to miss regular season games. But if it's week to week, as I've stated in years past, week to week usually means it's a minimum of 2 weeks. Very often it's a minimum of 2 weeks, and 2 weeks from now you're getting close to the regular season. So they need Couture on the ice. They need him in shape and good to go. He's their captain. And this is the team that's going to need their captain this year. Absolutely. So hopefully he's not going to be out that long. And finally, we'll close things out talking about Pettersson. And the press is hounding Pettersson. So here's the deal. Elias Pettersson has stated he's not renegotiating his contract once the season gets started. He is not concerned with his contract, nor should he be. He's going to get paid either way. The Canucks have said that they have lots of time to negotiate the deal. Pettersson's agent has come out and said that, they're willing to sit and talk deal once, Pettersson wants to talk about a deal and looking at an extension. And it sounds like the team and the player don't see any reason to panic. Yes, he's in the final year of a contract. He's a restricted free agent next summer. But nobody's panicked in the situation other than the press wants to hound him all the time. And there's article after article after article after article about it. So this is basically me saying I'm not going to do this outside of this today. And this today is more of my frustration with the fact that the press wants... I understand the press has to do their job, but you're not getting the answer you're looking for. You're not... Because there was one in the press that apparently said, so this is all about winning. But I didn't see anything in the article that would state that they were talking about why he would or wouldn't stay. But I will answer, the Canucks need to show some progression this year. They need to be competitive. If this is a team that is nowhere near the playoffs, again, I would not blame Pettersson for saying, on a long-term deal, I'm better off going to an organization that wins. And again, I've mentioned this before. If that makes Canuck fans angry, I don't know what to tell you. I don't blame a player who was drafted in 2017, so 6 years ago, has tasted the playoffs once that entire time, saying at the end of what will be that 7th year in the organization, I think it's time for me to go somewhere else. Again, if it's based on the direction the team is going, that's on the team. That's not on Pettersson. So I have no problem with him at all if that's kind of how he's approaching it. Like, okay, I'm going to play this season and not worry about my contract. And at the end of the year, we can talk about it. But if this team on the ice is still, barely 500 and they're 15 points out of the playoffs, I don't think I'm going to stay. If that's honestly how he feels, I really don't have a problem with it. But the press is not going to get the answer they want here. So he says it's not a distraction, but he also added that the press kind of makes it a distraction. So that's an issue, and it's something that I know players have talked about, with certain markets, that the press can be kind of a hassle to deal with. So we'll see how all this goes. But I really don't think there's anything there. I don't see any reason to think that the team, the agent, and the player are all lying to us, and behind the scenes there's this big panic. So, yeah, that's my opinion on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.